Hey everybody, welcome to Yellow Dog Farm. It's a beautiful day here, and we're going to work on opening this low tunnel with a linear actuator. These low tunnels have been a real game changer for us. Underneath this plastic I've got a ton of romaine and parsley growing, and it's totally protected by the low tunnel when the frost comes. And that's pretty important here, as we're going to have temperatures in the mid and high 20s over the next week. So, I mean, right now I'm sitting here and it's going to be 60 degrees as a high today, and the sun's hitting the low tunnel, so it's getting quite warm in there, and it needs to be opened. And that's usually in the middle of the day when I'm not here, and the farm is just popping and we don't have time to run over here and open it up. So we're going to work on opening this up. I bought a low-cost temperature sensor that goes ahead and opens up a switch, and the plan is to mount this linear actuator so that it can go ahead and drive the top open. So we'll go ahead and get started and see how it goes. So you can see on the linear actuator, it's got a mounting hole on the bottom here, and then also a hole in the actuator itself. So the idea is that it would be able to pivot as it moves throughout the arc in lifting up the tunnel. So I'm just going to put up a real primitive anchor to hold it here against the boards, and this is really kind of a test setup to see how it goes. We'll definitely have a more rigorous setup for next year, but I really want to get this thing up, and I'm just dying to try it. So this will be a little bit flimsy, but tells us what to do for the future. Okay, so this system works just like it does on your house with an air conditioner. It's got a temperature probe that tells us how hot it is in the raised bed. When the raised bed gets to about 75 degrees inside, then this temperature sensor, it's essentially the same as the thermostat in your house, kicks on, and it allows current to flow through this circuit. And that goes directly to the linear actuator. There's some really cool things about this linear actuator. First, it can handle about a 160 pound load, so it can lift this little cover up with no problem. And then one thing that I found is when I have the cover propped up, the wind wants to blow it completely open. and that won't happen with this linear actuator. It's all a 12-volt system, so it's really no big deal. It just runs off this little battery that you see here. And then the plan moving forward is that the battery will be powered by a solar power panel that I have in my shop. I just need to work backwards from the actuator. I'll also have another temperature sensor just like this one that will drive it to close. The reason I need two is the way that you get this actuator to run the other way is to reverse the polarity in the switches. So I don't have the fancy switches or logic card to go do that, so I'm just simply using these temperature sensors. This was only about $9 on Amazon. I think that the actuator itself was about $30 on Amazon, maybe $35. So a little bit expensive, but a lot better than frying your plants every single day. So I'm really happy with this system. It does exactly what I want it to do. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and take all the components and I'm going to put them in this box here to keep it out of the weather. So it's got a nice little, oh, there's a lizard. It's got a nice little cover to it, and it'll keep everything out of the weather. So we'll get that all done and we'll be ready for the weather tomorrow.